Yo, what is going on, everybody? I am here with Finesse the Books to discuss UFC Singapore. We got Max Holloway taking on the Korean Zombie this weekend, and what should be an entertaining fight card. It is not a fight night for U.S. citizens, at least. It is a fight morning. If you can wake up that early, it's actually in a few hours. So, what we are going to do is go through the whole card, kind of break down positions that we like. If we have an opinion on them, some of them we may or may not. A lot of these fighters, some of them actually derive from Road to UFC. So if you're not familiar with that promotion, it's actually going on this weekend as well. But what they do is they compete on the Asian scene to get a UFC contract. So we have a couple of fighters on this fight card that are like that, but the market in the US is not as, I guess, we're not viewing that as much as the Asian scene. So if you guys are confused about some of the names that we go over, just let us know in the comments, and I'll try to get back to it as soon as I can. But yeah, we're doing this fight card, our fight breakdown, a little bit late. We do have plans to actually bring you guys a regularly scheduled program, hopefully Thursdays, Wednesdays. I'm not too sure. One of those days. We haven't decided just yet. It's in the works. But for right now, we're going to go through this entire fight card, break it down, tell you guys our picks, predictions, maybe some props. Who knows what we end up with. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right into the first fight, which is Sungwoo Choi versus Jarno Aarons. Do you have any action on this fight card or on this fight, or do you have any predictions?
Yeah, no action for me. I think Troy's gonna win the fight. I'm not willing to pay the juice that it takes to find out. Major red flags on both sides for me. Enough for me to just kind of stay off. First fight of the night. Like I said, I think Troy wins. I think he can get it done in a multitude of ways. Obviously, I think he can knock this guy out. Not really the biggest submission threat, but Club and Sub I think is live too. So just not enough for me to get to a side, but I do think Troy wins.
Yeah, I'm also not in the ballpark of laying any kind of juice on Sungwoo Choi right now, but this is a fighter that the UFC has priced as a favorite in a couple of his matchups previously. I do think that this is a buy low spot on him, but after watching the weigh-in show, Jarno Aarons has a little bit of size to him and a little bit of I don't know. He looks gritty. He looks ready to go. What I worry about for some of these American fighters who come, sorry about that, who come out of American Top Team, because we have a couple of Asian fighters that are on that come from that fight camp. They're going to be a little bit jet lagged and lacking a couple of days because traveling that far distance. This is why I worry about Max Holloway a little bit, but that time zone difference really does play a factor whenever you really break it down and really dig into it. Jet lag doesn't hit these guys until a couple of days later. Some of them even cut weight on the airplane. So it's really interesting to me, but I do consider this a buy low spot for Sungwoo Choi. I know that he's let us down on his last 3 fights, but the guy can strike. He does have a mean left hook. And Jarno Aarons, to me at least, is a little bit of an unknown. I don't know if he wants to wrestle, if he wants to strike. I'm not really too sure, but in his first bout at UFC Paris, he was a little bit hesitant. He didn't throw as many strikes as you would like him to throw. He just almost second-guessed himself out there. So I'm also going to be passing on this first fight, but my official prediction is Sungwoo Choi. I don't know how he gets it done or when he gets it done, but I'm going to take him just because I'm a little bit more familiar with his game. The next fight that we have on this card is pretty hilarious. If you guys know anything about Na Liang or JJ Aldrich even, Na Liang, she's a really fast starter. She goes out there and, people say that she doesn't really have cardio. I don't know if that's true or not, or if she's just out there getting clipped and hit because she wants to get her opponents out of there so fast. We haven't seen her extended. She is really hittable. She's one of those fighters that is kill or be killed because she does have a plethora of submission wins also on her record. JJ Aldrich, she's just the basic fundamentalist of WMMA. She knows all the fundamentals. She's very sound technically. She does train at elevation as well with Rose Namajunas. So, this is a fighter who really comes prepared for a full 15-minute bout. I don't think she's ever been in a 25-minute fight, but regardless, I do think that her cardio is up to par, whereas Na Liang just remains kind of a question mark. For her, though, man, I don't know if you saw that her last fight with Silvana Gomez Juarez, but she was really chasing the takedown. She did not, she didn't even hide it, mask it. She didn't throw any, she didn't throw any feints to set it up. She just went for it. It was really low IQ for me, but what we've seen a lot of times is when these fighters take off a certain amount of time, they actually come back a little bit better prepared. I don't know enough about her to make that claim, but what I can say is JJ Aldridge, for her being priced or opening price at -1,000, that indicates to me that the books are at least expecting a finish, where JJ Aldridge is not really a finisher. And in my opinion, she also doesn't really make that price tag like justifiable. I mean, if you like her, so be it. Go for it. I mean, I'm not going to hold your will, but I do think that she's technical. I do think that she has a lot more skill, but to price a fighter at that price tag, you're wanting them to have at least finishing upside, and I don't know that she has that. I think people are more so fading what they don't know, and that's, does Na Liang has what it takes to go 15 minutes? Personally, I don't think so, but I also don't think that she's round one or bust like most would assume. Savannah Gomez Juarez, she's a boxer, so that's what she does. She puts people's lights out. I don't remember who she fought before that, but her fights are pretty hilarious. Do you have any action in this fight, Finesse?
Yeah, so I was just gonna stay completely away, but I do. I have Naliang to win in round one plus 1,200 on DraftKings. I mean, that was an amazing breakdown. You hit on a lot of points that I was going to touch on. Hilarious where this line opened at -1,000. Hilarious where it still is at north of -500. Closing in on +600 in some books. Absolutely hilarious. I don't think, as bad as I think Na Liang is, I don't think JJ should be that big of a six to one favorite versus any girl in the UFC. It's hilarious. So I'm in that camp. I think Na Liang has 5-6 minutes of cardio. I think if this fight gets out of round one, I think she's getting finished. That's really what it is. Like you said, she's super aggressive. Whether it's on her feet, constantly going to be in your face, pressuring. And I think she can do it. I've seen a lot of people taking a shot just based on the price. Like I said, getting close to +500. And I don't mind it. I think she's live to catch JJ and finish her however she wants, whether it's just a straight TKO, a club and sub. But yeah, if this to lay -600, -700, -1,000 on a fighter, you have to be almost sure they're going to finish the fight. And JJ, she has one knockout since 2016. Like you said, she's not a finisher. Super technical. Kind of likes bouncing on the outside and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think this may be. I think this is JJ's best shot to finish somebody. If this fight even sees a second in round two, I think JJ's live to finish now. But I'm more than happy at 12 to 1 to take the shot, the first round shot on Na. So I think that's the only way she wins this fight is clipping JJ in round one and finishing her in round one. If she clips her and doesn't finish, you might have 3-4 minutes of cardio instead of the 6-7 that I expect her to have. So yeah, Little Tasmanian Devil. She is not. I love watching her fight. It's hilarious every single time. And hopefully she gets it done. Hopefully she clips JJ. I'll sprinkle and get the 12 to 1 to find out.
Yeah, and so I really agree with you in the sense that, when books place a certain number in front of a fighter, like they're baiting you. And for me, all day long, I'll bite the bait. Fuck it. To me, it's dog or pass. It's a proper pass. But in no world is JJ Aldrich looking -1,000. She's not Valentina. She's not Amanda Nunes. She's JJ Aldrich. She's just as simple as it comes. She's a simple fighter. She does have skill, but man, that price tag is really, really wide. So yeah, I'll be passing. I'm rooting for everybody. I did take Naliang at the opening number at +700. This number has come down a lot. And this again is just a play on the number. I expect to lose. I think JJ Aldrich will win. But for me, as a bettor, you have to play the number. Win or lose, it's just where you see value at. So
yeah, and
totally
I think you said something really important, right? If you're gonna bet money on Na, don't expect that to be like a winning proposition 9 times out of 10, right? You're taking a shot, you playing 12 to 1, you got 7 to 1 on the money now. I like that, right? She may shock us, right? And come up with 7, 8 to 10 minutes of cardio, right? She might shock us. So yeah, you're taking long shots for a reason. You just need to hit them a certain percentage of the time. And normally that percentage is low as fuck, which is why you take the shot. So don't put money in and then be disappointed if she gets knocked the fuck out in the first round.
Exactly. The next fight that we have Kinoshita taking on Billy Goff. Now, I'll start this one off. So Billy Goff, this is a guy who he fights with a lot of heart. He fights with his heart on his sleeve. You know, he'll go out there, but he does get dropped, but he is really game to actually get back up and actually, go out there and finish the fight. And I'm not even trying to mention this name as a comparison, but we saw how Ian Gary was dropped by a fighter on this card, actually. He was dropped. He came back and won. That's exactly how Billy Goff likes to fight. He'll drop, he'll get in your face. He's a pressure, move forward kind of a fighter. And on the flip side, you have Kinoshita, who, this guy has power in both hands. One of his weaknesses that was exposed in I guess it was his sophomore debut, was it? No, it was his debut, where, he was striking, he was able to get taken down, he was eating shots. And it just kind of overall was a little bit of a concern to most people. But to me, I think it's almost a buy low spot on him. He fought Adam Fugit. That's right. And Adam Fugit was actually a plus 300 underdog. He goes out there and actually cashes in the first round via TKO. So I do, I guess, have concerns with him, but we've seen a lot of these sophomore fighters, recently kind of come through. None come off the I forgot Daniel Zellhuber. He was one of those guys, where they just had a really bad debut. There's even a fighter on this card, Tyler Santos. She goes out there and fights Mayra Buena Silva, I believe. No. God, I'm butchering that name. She came in with her UFC debut though, and she dropped it. Romero Barella. There you go. So a lot of these fighters, what happens is they make that debut. Sometimes they slip on a banana peel a little bit. They pull a stunt and they end up losing. And I think this is what we're getting with Kinoshita. His record will indicate that he's 6-2. But if you watch back the other loss, it was actually a win, and he was actually kicking that guy's ass. But he was DQ'd for grabbing the cage.
Yeah, grabbing the cage and stomping the dude, right?
Yeah, he grabbed the cage, stomped the guy, and that was just illegal. You can't actually grab the fence, rope, none of that. It's just kind of illegal.
Ain't that crazy? Like, I can stomp his face in, but I can't grab the
fence. John Jones, he's undefeated, but he's got a loss on his record because of the 6-12 elbows. Same shit. But regardless, I think that this is one of those fights where it's a little bit of a buy low spot on Kinoshita. I think that the odds are actually pretty generous. I think people are taking Billy Goff just expecting him to fight with that heart on his sleeve, and he might. But again, this is another fighter that we've talked about. When you're fighting out of U.S. territories, you're going to be a little jet lag going to Thailand, making these fights a war. You're losing almost 24 hours of sleep, and on top of that, you got the whole weight cut. So there's a lot of things that kind of are a red flag for me in the Billy Goff fight. I think that this fight's going to be phenomenal. I'm not going to be shocked if Billy Goff wins. But overall, I think this is a great, entertaining fight to the rest of the card. I think that this is going to be a fantastic, we're going to see which prospect is going to end up being the real deal. But this is Billy Goff's debut. He's coming off the Dana White Contender Series, good win. Kinoshita, I think that this is a spot where he kind of knows where he has to prove it. He's going to have the fans backing him as well in this part of the world. So for me, it's Kinoshita or pass. My official prediction is him to get it done via TKO, probably in round 1, maybe 2, because Billy Goff is pretty durable. But that's my official prediction. I do not have any plays here. Do you?
I do. Yeah, I agree. I agree with almost everything you said. Couple of things on the Goff side, right? Goff, I feel like, is super, super public, right? I've seen a lot of people on Twitter on Goff, and like you said, a lot of their reasoning is tied into Goff's toughness, and I'll touch on that a little in a little bit. Don't mind fading a guy off Contender Series. I've made a lot of money doing that. I think that's a very kind of public trend. Got the finish on Dana White's Contender Series, but we see all the time, like you said, these debutantes, just don't fight up to their potential in a debut for several reasons. And also, I don't mind buying into somebody, like you said, in their sophomore showing. So he dropped his debut to Fugit. Fugit is a much different matchup than Goff is, right? Fugit is huge for the weight class. He's going to be stronger than God is. I like Fugit striking better than I like Goff striking. So I think that's a completely different matchup, right? So I'm willing to take the chance that he looks a lot better and gets the job done in his sophomore appearance. So lending into that toughness and that heart of Goff, I agree. He's a savage. He's a dog. And you can't teach that type of shit, but he gets hurt in almost every fight that he's in, usually gets hurt early in round 1. There's only so much you can do that before, you get out of there, especially facing, UFC competition consistently, guys are going to get you out of there. So I 100% agree. I'm on Kinoshita money line at minus 135 on DK, and then I took a shot at the round one KO at plus 380 on FanDuel. That line was a lot more friendly than books like DK. I think DK is like plus 250 for round one KO. So I like getting it on FanDuel. The plus 380 I feel like is very valuable as the fight goes long. I think obviously I'm taking Kinoshita because I think he can win a decision as well. And kind of push through that toughness of Goff. But I think there's, the longer the fight goes, you have to favor Goff, right? He's shown the 15-minute cardio, he's shown the toughness, and he's shown the bounce back ability. So I think Kinoshita wins round one, right? And I think there's a decent enough chance that he finishes him around one. So I don't mind doing that. If he wins round one in a 3-round fight, that's super, super important, I feel like. So yeah, I think Kinoshita has a lot of advantages. Heavy hands. Goff's striking defense is non-existent, right? So again, facing UFC guys consistently, that's only going to hold up for so long. The toughness and the heart is only going to hold up for so long. So I think Kinoshita connects with some bombs early on. Hopefully gets him out of there to catch that prop, but I think he wins this fight. And I'm willing to pay the minus 135 to find out. So yeah, Kinoshita money line and round one KO.
Did you see the ceremonial weigh-ins for this fight?
I did not. I had trouble. I didn't know what time they were, but I got to watch that. I got to watch that back.
Kinoshita's massive compared to Billy Goff. I was actually shocked watching that.
Yeah,
but nonetheless,
don't really tell you that, right? Like the numbers, I think Kinoshita
the numbers don't tell you that exactly.
Taller.
And a lot of these fighters too, what happens in the UFC is they actually let you tell them what your height is and your reach is and all that stuff. But until you actually see them face to face, then you'll actually know the truth. But yeah, that was a little bit shocking to me. Anyways, moving on. The next fight on the card, this one's actually okay, not this fight, but the next fight's my favorite one. We got Kenan Song versus Rolando Bedoya. Now, I kind of have a little bit of a hot take here, and I'll probably be on the Kenan Song side on an island. I'm curious to hear what you have to say breaking this fight down. I'm sorry if I disagree with you.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, so here's my reasoning, man. Like Kenan Song, he's actually a really good striker. He's really patient. He's pretty technical. Rolando Bedoya, this is a fighter that I kind of think that what happens in losing efforts when people look good, we overrate them, and then you're paying a tax to back them. We're paying a tax to back Rolando coming off a losing effort to Chaos Williams. Did he win that fight? Probably. I mean, I probably scored it for him, but nonetheless, the tax is still there. It's still applicable. You're paying minus 350 for a fighter who, his median is plus 114. If you look at, his other fights where there was odds listed. So that's a little bit concerning to me. Kenan Song, he's been in the UFC for quite some time. His performance, it's been a little bit lackluster. He took the loss to Ian Gary, had a highlight as far as knocking him out. He lost to Max Griffin, where there was some actually interesting and fan-friendly exchanges in that fight, but Max Griffin ended up coming on top. His only wins come to fighters that are no longer on the UFC roster. But, I mean, nonetheless, he's been there, done that. This is also another guy who has, fought on the road to UFC, and he ended up getting that contract. So this is a guy where he actually lost that fight. I'm sorry. He lost that fight. But after losing that, he actually made his debut in the UFC. I don't know how that ended up working out. A lot of these short notice replacements, it's just they call them out of convenience, cheap labor. It's a Dana White thing. It's not my deal. But the reason why I like him in this fight is just because he's going to be the taller, rangier striker in this fight. This is a guy who, he's just had that experience. He's fighting in his neck of the woods this time around. So for me, what the fuck is that? So yeah, for me, I just, it's playing a number. And I don't think Kenan Song is worthy of plus 280. He wasn't even that against Ian Gary. So if you're telling me Rolando Bedoya is Ian Gary, then, more power to you. But to me, I don't see that. So, yeah, to me, it's dog or pass in the spot. I'm curious to hear what you say. I don't know if you have a play on this, or at least I don't remember. But if you do, my bad.
No, yeah, that's how I feel. I agree. Bedoya at minus 350 or around there is kind of ridiculous. Like you said, he wasn't even that big of a dog versus Gary. So I 100% agree. I just don't give a fuck enough, right, about that, unfortunately. So I did take Bedoya. I have him in a parlay, and we'll discuss the other leg of that a little later. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. Just playing the number, I 100% agree, right? It's dog or pass if you're just kind of playing the number, looking for a straight bet, looking to have action on the fight. 100% agree. I just like Bedoya. Like you said, came in his UFC debut, a tough spot, right? Chaos has been in the UFC a minute. He's fought UFC guys for a while now. That's a tough fight. And I scored that fight for Bedoya as well. And he ain't get the decision. So it is what it is. I think Bedoya has so many advantages, right? I love backing those shoot the box fighters. And we see all the time, right? There's commonalities in all these shoot the box fighters. That usually tough, right? Bedoya's chin is fucking crazy. He was eating bombs from Chaos and just kind of smirking at him, which is savage. So they're normally tough, right? Good chins. The leg kicks, right? They usually eat up the calves of the opponents, and I think that's a big hole in Kanon's game. Kanon doesn't really care if you kick him. He's not really interested in checking kicks or kind of creating that distance to take the kicks away. He's not interested in any of that shit. So I think Bedoya is going to eat his fucking legs up. And the cardio, I give the cardio edge to Bedoya as well. And I'm always going to side with the cardio. So I think this is a great matchup for Bedoya. Like you said, the line is wide, but the books know what they're doing, right? I think that's for a reason. I think Bedoya can finish this fight. I think he can win the decision. I would lean towards Bedoya finishing the fight. Kanon has been hurt, has been dropped, and he's shown that kind of inefficiency in his defensive game to be caught, right? Bedoya has heavy hands. And yeah, I was impressed in his debut. Chaos is not a contender, right? He's not on title trajectory by any means, but that's still a tough fight, especially in your debut. So yeah, I'm willing to back the shoot the box fighter. I've made a lot of money on him. I think he has a ton of advantages in this fight, and I'm willing to pay that price in a parlay. Right? I'm not bombing the parlay 5-unit mega max type shit. I'm not doing that, but I did put him in a little two leg parlay, and I think he wins this fight.
That's fair. Moving on, we have what I think is my favorite fight on the card. We got Chini and Jokuwani taking on Michał Olazejczuk. This is one where I'll also start off. I like Michał in the spot a lot. I think Chidi and Jokuwani, people are kind of overrating his Muay Thai game a little bit, in my opinion. Sure, yeah, he's a black belt, but does he ever really want to grapple or wrestle? Not really. He's too tall, and if you look at the dynamics of wrestling, you really want to get in on the hips of the opponent that you're trying to take down. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that this is going to be a striking match. Michał is actually a little bit smaller than Chidi. This is a guy who used to fight at light heavyweight, so he's used to the big bodies already as it is. Michał is a guy who fights really aggressive. He moves forward. He has heavy hands, wings, hooks, and he goes out there for the kill, man. I think that this is what they say in UFC as a Chad. This is a Chad. He will move forward. And he might be gassy. I'm not too sure, but I do think that this is the appropriate weight class for him. I think that he should have been a middleweight for, he should have never fought at light heavyweight. And even so, he still has wins up there. So that's impressive nonetheless. Chidi on the flip side, this is a guy who people were assuming that he's going to have the cardio advantage. I don't know, man. I think that this guy guesses out too, especially if he's on his back foot and fighting to counter. This guy has nasty knees. He's long, rangy, good Muay Thai game, and he's also a black belt too, which I recently found out. But I've never really seen him at least, use it. He will, I guess, threaten with submissions, but that's not really his game. That's not what he's known for. I think that he's going to be pressured in this fight. He's going to be backed up against the cage, and I do think Michał is going to land a body shot. I just see it in my head with Chidi being so long and so rangy. I think Michał is going to get on the inside and land a nice body shot to put Chidi down. And I cannot wait to watch this fight. I actually got my alarm clock set up to watch this fight. This is the one. I don't care about the other ones. I want to watch this one. I think this is going to be a banger. But I do think Michał, he has potential to look more than what his price tag indicates, in my opinion, right? And I know Chidi has been really fun, but he's a little bit on the older side. I think that, Liam referred to this as cigarette cardio. And Chidi is one of those guys where I don't know that he really has that cardio in him either, Say what you want about Michał, but he was carrying in a lot of extra weight in those light heavyweight fights where, yeah, he might have gassed out. And, yeah, he doesn't know how to get up from a takedown. But Chidi is not one to even implement takedowns. He can fight in the clinch. He throws knees, but he's not the one really looking for, double legs or single legs to get his opponents down. If he's going to the mat, he knocked you down with either a knee, a straight hand, and you're down that way. I like Michał on the spot. I think that he knocks out Chidi. Chidi is another one of those fighters that is actually flying in from the U.S. And so I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Michal here. I think that he's gonna be the more comfortable fighter, the more prepared fighter, and he fights like a fuck it fighter. You know, those fighters who just go forward and like, all right, whatever. You hit me with your shot. Well, let me hit you with three of mine. I like his combos, man. I think that his boxing is really slick. So I like Michal here. I think that he has potential to look probably minus 300 in the spot. But again, Cheaty, I know that he's really rangy. He has some power, nice elbows, good clinch work. So I want to give him his flowers as well. But I think when the lights are brightest, I think one of these fighters has more potential to look that price tag. And I think, in my opinion, it's Michal.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I've been back and forth on this fight all week. I think each fighter kind of has their advantages, but I really wanted to play Michal, however you said. I really wanted to play him. We were talking about it before the show. The line has moved a little bit. I really want to get there, but I couldn't. I agree with a lot of your points. Some major red flags for the Cheaty side. Like you said, the age, right? He's getting up there in age. The cardio is a major red flag. I want to see him extended again and kind of see how he does, and we'll see if this fight is one of those fights where he does get extended. Yeah, if Cheaty was smart, I think he has the skills to use his wrestling and grappling to get this to the mat. If he was smart, he'd just do that. I think he can win this fight doing that, but I don't think we see that from Cheaty, and I think you mentioned that as well. In a kickboxing fight, 15-minute kickboxing fight, I think Ola Jacek wins that fight. So yeah, I like him. Lean that way. That's going to be my pick, but no official action for me on this one.
Yeah, this is a banger fight. This is actually my favorite one outside of Aaron Blanchfield and Santos. And I think the Aaron Blanchfield Santos one is more of like a mystery. Not really that I'm excited to watch it. It's just come find out kind of a fight for me. Anyways, moving on. We have Toshiomi Kazama taking on Garrett Armfield. I'm going to let you start this one off.
Yeah, so for the last couple of days, I was convinced I was going to be on the Armfield side. I think I'm going to stay off, to be honest. I watched tape on both of these guys multiple times because I was kind of so back and forth on this one. Yeah, like I said, I thought I was going to be on Armfield, but I'm going to stay off. I don't have the best read on this fight. I think Armfield has a lot of advantages, right? I think he has the boxing advantage. Kazama just got flattened on his last fight again. You kind of give him a pass on that. I think Rinya just absolutely flatline him, and I think he's going to do that to a lot of guys. So kind of give him a pass for that one. But yeah, Armfield I think has a lot of advantages, but to pay this price, right? I think you could have got a friendlier price earlier in the week, and I'm not the one to do that. I don't normally pull the trigger on bets early in the week. I usually wait, kind of gather all the information that I can, and this line just moved too much for me. So in what I think can turn out to be a coin flip fight, I'm not going to pay minus 150, minus 160 to just kind of find out. So already a lot of action on the card. I'm going to stay away. I was interested to hear what you had to say in this fight, but yeah, I just think Armfield has a lot of advantages. I think he has advantages on the feet. He makes mistakes on the ground and can put him, some low IQ decisions when on the mat. But I still think he has a decent enough ground game. Kazama's going to be looking for that, right? Constant forward pressure, looking to get a hold of you, bring you to the mat. But yeah, I'm not confident. My pick is going to be Armfield, but I think I'm going to stay away officially.
Yeah, I like Armfield here a lot. I think Kazama is a really popular underdog to the public, and I have to be careful with liking this fighter a lot because again, we talk about U.S. fighters having to fly over there and jet lag and weight cut, and I just don't know that if Kazama is that guy that you really have to wake up for. Now let me I guess give my flowers where they're due. Kazama, he ends up winning a UFC contract and a decision win on road to UFC. This was this time last year. Then he goes out there and debuts against Nakamura, who we'll talk about later. Gets KO'd, flatline, round one. I worry about this guy's chin because he's been KO'd in 2 of his last 3 fights. And then before that, he fights at Pancrase, which is a really low level promotion where, a lot of these records are a little bit skewed. They don't actually do matchmaking appropriately. And so in this fight, I just think Garrett Armfield has already fought that level of competition. He's also, I think Garrett Armfield fought at LFA. I don't remember. Yeah, he did. He fought at LFA. He fought against Ronnie Lawrence. RIP, Ronnie Lawrence. He won't be fighting for a while. Guy has like major staph infection or something like that going on this year. But anyways, he fought him in his third professional fight. And since then, he's gone on and he's been on a little bit of a run. He ended up losing to David Onama, but the guy has wrestling in his back pocket. I do think that he's durable, even though he got finished his last time out. I think that I don't have any really major concerns with his durability. He'll go out there, he'll wrestle, he'll implement, I guess, the forward pressure. So in this fight, I think the minus 156 is a little generous. I think that he has potential to look like a bigger favorite. And in those cases where I think that a fighter has potential to look more than their price tag indicates, those are the fighters that I really want to back. I like Armfield in this spot, but this is going to be his sophomore outing, and we've already talked about sophomore outings before, where those are guys that you want to give a second chance. Both of them, really, it's their sophomore outing, and it's really hard to judge where Kazama is at, coming off of that brutal knockout by Nakamura. That was only a couple months ago, and if you watch that knockout, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one to watch. So yeah, for all of those reasons, I'll be taking Garrett Armfield as the prediction for a pick. Haven't really made a pick just yet. I was hoping that the price tag would come a little bit lower because this is a guy, Kazama, who actually opened up, I think, plus 160. So the price is pretty much coming down. Let's see, it's 10-12 here in Texas. I might wait till midnight to see if I actually make a move there, but we'll see. Next fight on the card, we have what do we have? Oh, Lucas Bresky taking on Waldo Cortez Acosta. This is another one where I'm going to let you start off. I think that you might have something here, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I don't. No action in this fight. Super, heavyweight. This is going to be one of those disgusting fights to bet on. I think you're going to be puckered up no matter what side you're on. So I think this is a disgusting fight. I'm going to pick Waldo, but I think this price is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Didn't watch a lot of tape on this fight. Don't have a lot to say on this fight. Absolute pass for me.
All right, cool. I'm right there with you. I think that you just stole the words right out of my mouth. I don't really care for this Waldo guy. I think the UFC is trying way too hard to promote this guy. I'm going to predict him to win just because I think the UFC knows what they're doing. Bresky, I'm not really too sure where his ceiling is at. The guy already has like 2 losses in the UFC, but we have seen him go to decision. Brother, I don't know. I don't know what to think of this fight. Pass for me. Good luck if you're betting it. We're going to move on. Next fight up, we have Junior Tafa taking on Parker Porter. I know that you have a spot here, so I'll let you take this one over.
Yeah, so let me get the exact prices. So I'm on Junior Tafa money line at minus 135, and I'm on Tafa around 1 KO at plus 250 on FanDuel. Just a small sprinkle there. This one is fairly simple for me. Obviously, Tafa's older brother, fought and flatline Parker Porter. Was that in round 1?
I don't remember. I know that he got flatlined, but I can't remember if it was round 1.
Yeah,
I'm going to assume yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume yes too. So yeah, there's definitely red flags, right? If you're gonna take Tafa, there's red flags. I think if he gets put on the mat, Parker Porter has shown that he can be heavy on top. Obviously, he's a massive fucking human being. He can be heavy on top. I don't think Tafa's ground game and get up game is anything, fancy. I don't think it's evolved to where it's gonna be or anything like that. So there's good possibilities that he's going to lose chunks of rounds. He's going to lose minutes on his back if Parker decides that that's how he wants to fight. But I think the same exact thing happens. I think Tafa's going to have the severe speed advantage. He's going to have the power advantage. Again, it's heavyweight, so both guys have power, but those Tafa's got that that next level power. Just touch your chin and you fucking out. So I think Tafa's going to absolutely separate Parker from his consciousness, and I think it happens in round 1. So if this fight goes to round 2, I think the money line is seriously in jeopardy for Tafa. And again, some people might not like that, right? Some people might not like the idea of backing somebody and being scared if the fight enters round 2, but 5 minutes is a lot of time for Tafa to find Parker's chin. Parker's extremely hittable. He's going to be a much slower fighter. So this one is fairly simple for me. Tafa doesn't have a ton of pro experience. I think he's 6-2 or something like that, 5-2. Um, I'm sorry, 4-1, 4-1. Must have been somebody else I was looking at. So, right, there's red flags that'll, for some people, that'll just completely dissuade them from betting on this fight. But I like the matchup here. I think they're trying to build Tafa up, like we talked about that earlier. Parker's more on his way out, getting up there in age. I'll take the younger, faster, heavier hitter in the heavyweight division, and pay a little bit of juice to do so. So I'm taking him, and I'm taking his way, uh, by far his likeliest path to victory, which is a round one knockout.
Yeah, I guess I'm right there with you. Now, the only reason why I had a hesitancy or a little bit of concern here is just because Justin Tafa really hasn't had the experience. He doesn't have the fight miles yet, but Parker Porter is really nothing to really get too excited about. The best thing about Parker Porter is he fought John Jones 3 fights into his career. That's like the most interesting thing about Parker Porter. And then he has all these low level wins since he's been in the UFC. But his chin is there to just kind of be exposed. I think Parker Porter has potential to actually cut down and probably go to light heavyweight. And I don't know, man. I think that he's just rolling off the couch and taking every fight. And I mean, maybe he trains, I don't know, but he fought Braxton Smith his last time out. He won that fight. Braxton should have never been in the UFC. And now we're paying a tax to back Parker. I think Justin Tafa is one of those guys who has that background, has that killer instinct running in his blood. You know, his brother is one of those fighters as well. So for me, it's Tafa or pass. I do think Tafa ends up finding the chin. If you did watch these face-offs as well, Tafa looks like a heavyweight. Parker Porter just looks like a tomato.
Yeah,
so
sloppy and fucking just there. He's just there.
Bro, he's just there. He's just there. So I don't know, man. I like Parker Porter just because he has a little bit of character, I guess. I mean, he's cool. I have nothing against the guy. I just think that Tafa has a little bit more upside. Him only being 26 years old, you know, he's really young. So give me Tafa here, but yeah, this is a fight that I don't really have interest in from a betting perspective, just because of the low fight mileage on the Tafa side, and I don't really know what to think about Parker Porter. I have no idea. The next fight that we have up, this is my second favorite fight on the card. We got Aaron Blanchfield taking on Tyler Santos. I'm gonna start this one off just because
the people's main event.
This is probably the people's main event. Should be the co-main event. Now Aaron Blanchfield, I want to talk about first of all her upside. She hasn't, and what originally breaking down this fight, I was thinking the Tyler Santos side. After really digging in, I'm leaning more towards the Aaron Blanchfield side. I don't know really what to think of Tyler Santos after, you know, number one, let's talk about her not paying her coaches, right? She doesn't pay her coaches and her UFC title fight. So she's already lost that. She's training at Tyler Santos gym. So I'm assuming it's just her and maybe her husband. You know, she's her striking was actually the reason why she got to the UFC. She did have like a lot of Muay Thai background. Sure, she does wrestle, and that's been her game plan most of the time, but it's really one hitter, and then she's just really low volume. She's low output to me. So if you go back and watch these fights, she's handling her competition accordingly, but the names on her resume don't stand out all that much to me. Joanne Calderwood, she's always wanted out of the UFC. Roxanne Modafferi, come on, brother. She does cosplay like part-time. Like she's not real. She's you know, journeyman. Jillian Robertson, very one-dimensional fighter who really should be at straw weight, not really flyweight. Molly McCann, that one kind of is all right, you know, because that was her sophomore fight. But we talk about this. We talk about sophomore fighters who actually show up in their second appearance. So whatever, good win. And her Valentina fight, I mean, she did end up getting back control, but she doesn't do much with the back control. And Valentina's not really like a grappler. Sure, she's very well-rounded. Sure, she's a GOAT. I consider her a GOAT. But I think that in the grappling exchanges, that's where Aaron Blanchfield kind of wants to be. So if you're going to take her down, you know, I do think that she can scramble very well. I think that's where she's comfortable. And I think that she's also finding her own in the striking department. We saw her put a pace on Jessica Andrade. And Andrade, if you watch that fight back, landed a couple of heavy hitting shots that probably would have put out other flyweights. But Aaron doesn't go down, bro. She just is so motivated to be in there. She's like, all right, cool. You hit me. Dope. Let me hit you back. Let me take you down. Let me choke you out. I like Aaron's upside. And let's not forget, she's only 24 years old. So she's got all the room in the world to actually grow and expand on that career. again, I think Tyler Santos having a corner maybe would be a little bit more pleasing to back, but because she's going through this financial hiccup, and on top of that, I think she's going through a visa hiccup. I don't even know if she was allowed in the United States her last time to fight Erin Blanchfield. Erin Blanchfield took that fight against Jessica Andrade as a short notice replacement. That was supposed to be Tyler Santos, but she couldn't get a visa to fight in the United States, and she didn't have the corner or the team to help her because she don't pay nobody. A lot of sketchy stuff. A lot of sketchy stuff going on the Tyler side of things that I don't really like. She's strong. She can wrestle. She's pretty well rounded. She hits hard, but it's just the extracurriculars that I'm not a fan of right now. And we haven't seen her in some time. She can't even fight in the United States. That's why this fight is in Singapore and Dana White threw on a card. I don't know, man. I think Erin Blanchfield is the right side. I think that if there is a fighter here, actually, I'm not even going to say that because I do think Tyler Santos can make this competitive. I was going to say if there is a fighter here that looks minus 300, it's probably Erin, but I don't want to say that. She's still young. I think that she can still learn a thing or two. But I will say I think that she does have finishing upside in this fight. I do think that she can grapple and keep up with Tyler Santos. I think that her pace, pressure, and her volume is enough. So I'm going to go with Erin Blanchfield in this fight. I'm really excited to watch this one. This is another one that I'm pretty stoked to watch to see who the actual contender is of flyweight. But nonetheless, whoever wins here is probably getting a title shot. The title shot, if it is for Tyler, won't be in the United States anytime soon. So that's another, detour that the UFC would have to take if she wins. So I don't know. We'll see what's up. I'm going with Erin Blanchfield, and my hot take here is that she actually gets it done in round 3 via TKO.
I love it. I love it, my brother. I 100% agree. We're not going to spend too much on this fight because I agree with so many of the points that you said. I kind of bombed it, right? A lot of people throw around their units on Twitter and shit like that, 5 units, 6 units, 7. But I usually like to keep it real safe and kind of real simple. So 2.2 units is a lot for me, right? So I bet 2.2 units on Erin Blanchfield at minus 146. That's to win 1.5 units. Yeah, all the extracurricular shit. Like she made the most money she's probably ever made in her life, right? Fighting Valentina, fighting for the belt, and then you just don't pay the people that got you there. It's the craziest thing ever. So you got that legal issue. You got the legal issue with the visa, like you said, almost 15 months out of the cage. That's a long time. That's a long time. I think people are gonna. First of all, I think Tyler is the public side, right? That's all I've seen on Twitter, and a lot of the reasoning for that is the recency bias, right? Oh, she's coming off, right, arguably winning. I scored that fight for Santos, and watching it back in tape, I think I remember it. It was closer than I remember it being, but I still gave it to Tyler. So people are like, oh, she just beat, the one of the most dominant champions in UFC. How is she not going to beat Blanchfield at the plus money price? It's a gift, right? You think the books will give you a gift? I don't think that's necessarily the case. So, like you said, I think Erin Blanchfield is very well rounded. She got that dog in her. She's not going to quit. I don't think she's ever been finished. Yeah, she's not going to quit. I think she's better everywhere. I think the only thing that's kind of close is the power, right? I think Tyler has that fight changing power. Erin Blanchfield striking has gotten miles and miles better throughout the years. Obviously, she's still young. I think she's on a true title trajectory, and that means winning fights like this against top contenders, against former title challengers. I think this is just another step. I think the belt gets wrapped around her waist eventually. She is a dog. So I think I was actually earlier in the week, I was actually looking at Tyler plus 3.5, right? The spreads that DK offers, that's minus 170 right now. I think Erin has a decent chance maybe to lose round 1, and then obviously it's tough in a 3-round fight. I like Erin a lot more. If this was a 5-round fight, I'd probably go max bet, and I'd probably put 4 or 5 units on Blanchfield. But 3-round fights can get tricky. It's WMMA, stuff like that. But I really, really like Blanchfield. I like her even more after taping her again. She is only getting better. And we might have seen the peak of Tyler Santos, right? We might have seen that ceiling against Valentina, where she arguably beat her. That might be her ceiling. So now all this extracurricular shit, like you said, outside of the octagon, she's probably still training with good girls, but not having your team around you that brought you up, your normal training partners, it can be a huge problem. So I would not be surprised if we see major regression. A lot of people are banking on her just coming out and and fighting like she did in the Valentina fight. One thing that I heard from a couple people that I respect a lot this week is they think Shevchenko's like grappling is severely overrated, and I tend to agree. Right, we just saw it. They said a lot of these people said it was only a matter of time before somebody does what Alexa Grasso did to her. Right, take advantage of a mistake, take her back, and choke her the fuck out. She wasn't even under her neck, and she tapped. So yeah, I think she has some major. I think Tyler's wrestling, offensive wrestling, might have been slightly overstated in that matchup. But yeah, I'm in the Blanchfield camp. I think she's a future champion, and I think that means getting through girls like Tyler Santos. I think Tyler Santos is good, but I think Aaron Blanchfield is better. So 2.2 units to win 1.5. Blanchfield is going to win this fight.
I love it. I'm gonna add on to that, and I agree with Shevchenko being a little bit of an overrated grappler. I do think that she's still the GOAT of WMMA, but I do think that she's overrated in the grappling department. They don't train that in Kyrgyzstan. But I don't know, man. To see her lose to Alexa Grasso was just such a blueprint. In hindsight, how Tyler Santos handled her. I mean, Tyler Santos, the way that she backpacked Shevchenko, I don't know if that's going to happen again, especially against somebody who, they don't really care to get grappled. We've seen Erin Blanchfield on her back for a whopping 12 seconds, and she was like 12 years old, bro. She took on Tracy Cortez in Invicta, and she was just a little girl.
A fight that she won. A fight that she won.
A fight that she won. Bro, she was still in high school. Or I'm kidding, but like, damn, bro, she was young as hell. Like, I don't know, man. The upside's on the Aaron side. So, yeah, give me Aaron all day here. We're going to move on to the next fight where we have, is it Nakamura time? It is Nakamura time. We got Nakamura taking on Fernando Garcia. So I can tell you a little bit about Fernie. He trains at the gym down the road from me. He's been at Fortis MMA. He's got a little bit of dog in him, but he's a striker. He's a grappler. Sorry. He's a striker. He's a boxer. He's not a grappler. But he's really durable, and he, enjoys striking exchanges, but I don't know if this fight is going to stay standing for too long. I do think Nakamura has striking upside, as weird as that sound. I mean, he doesn't look too bad to me in the striking department, but he uses his striking to actually set up takedowns. He'll go for submission, some ground and pound. This guy's very well rounded. I think that the UFC market knows what they're doing, throwing him on the main card. He's already got a couple of highlight finishes. Actually, all of his finishes are pretty highlight worthy. He's only been a decision one time, but I have no question really about his gas tank. The odds are a little wide for somebody in their sophomore debut, but when you know what someone's going to bring to the table like Fernando, he's going to want to strike. I do think that his hooks can lead him into a takedown. I think that he's going to be on the mat probably in round one, to be honest. My prediction here, Nakamura gets it done, round one, submission. Button minus 900 is a little wide for me on the money line. Prop maybe, parlay maybe, but I'm not really interested in any number that this fight has to offer. I'll be watching it. I'll even be rooting for Garcia, to be honest. Just Dallas boys, baby. But all bias aside, I can't get there with Fernando Garcia. So yeah, give me Rinya Nakamura to win this fight via round one submission.
Yeah, I agree. No disrespect to your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? This comes with no disrespect. But this fight probably should not have been made. The L word does not exist in my vocabulary, but this L word right here, I'm actually putting this in the parlay I put together is Giga, Nakamura, and Bedoya, and that's plus 105 on FanDuel. And I think Nakamura is like the free leg, right? It's a free square of the week. So I put that in there just to get plus money. This fight should not be made. I 100% agree with you. Fernie's definitely a decent boxer, right? That's what his base is. I know some people that are taking shots on Fernie, obviously just because of the price, right? We were talking about that earlier. Some people got him at like plus 700, plus, in the plus 700s. And I'm not mad at that, right? Taking a small little stab, not mad at that at all. But I mean, Rinya is a fucking monster, right? We saw what he did in his last fight. Absolutely flatlining the dude in 30 seconds. I'm getting all these foreign names mixed up. Kazama, yeah, absolutely flatline Kazama in like 30 seconds. Yeah, this kid is going to be a problem. Undefeated. He's on the main card for a reason. I think he completely runs through Fernie and gets it done. So, like I said, I think this is as close to a free square as it gets, especially in fighting. So I just threw him in a parlay. I think Nakamura wins.
Yeah. I'm totally right there with you. So we are in alignment on this fight. I don't want to spend too much time talking about a minus 900 favorite and why they're going to win. So we're going to move on to the next fight. We got Giga Chikadze taking on Alex Caceres. Now, this is one where I actually think that the price tag is generous on the favorite side.
Mhm.
Giga, his last time out, he fights Calvin Cater. He gets absolutely butchered and, just embarrassed almost. I actually took Calvin Cater in that fight because I saw that it was just too much too soon. And but this is a little bit of a step down in competition. Alex Caceres, this is a guy who kind of wants to grapple. He's soft bodied, he's a little soft spoken. He can get finished, he can get clipped, he can get hit.
He's so
But
funny.
he's fun. He's fun though. He's a fun fighter. I like Alex Caceres. He's a little bit of a mainstay in the UFC, but he's soft, bro. There's really not dog in him, in my opinion. If you look at a lot of his wins, they're the guys who aren't on the UFC roster anymore, outside of maybe Chase Hooper. Um, yeah, man, to me, it's Giga all day. I love that he took the time off. A lot of people aren't going to like that. They hate when people take time off. And, we just talked about how Santos took time off. That has nothing to do with her activity, her trying to get better. That had to do with her visa. So her last time she fought was actually in Singapore. Actually, let me get off that topic. Let's talk about this fight. Giga, this is a guy who took the time off. He wanted to address a couple of things that Calvin Cater actually implemented on him to actually get better. I think Giga Chikadze has top 5 potential in the weight class, honestly. And I know people at the time were calling him overrated. I think this is a spot where he can actually get back in that win column and capitalize on Alex Caceres, who anytime he's gotten a step up has actually fell short. Before his win streak, had he lost one more, his job in the UFC might be very debatable. So for me, I like Giga Chikadze. I like him to get it done. I don't know. I think he gets it done inside the distance, to be honest. Alex Caceres is durable, but he's hittable as hell. And I think Giga, he wants this fight to stay standing, and I think he will get, his wish. Alex Caceres is a back taker. So what we need to watch out for in this fight is Giga backing up to the fence, because that's where he's more suspect to enter grappling exchanges, and Alex Caceres doing his rear naked choke shit. But as long as it stays striking, he utilizes lateral movement, and I'm just going to assume that he's worked on his takedown defense in this time off, because that was one of the things that he wanted to address himself. So for me, it's Giga all day. The upside and the momentum is with Giga. I think Alex Caceres, people are just backing him because of the win streak, but to me, there's got to be names on that resume, not just nobody. So yeah, give me Giga. I think he's a parlay piece. I think that his money line actually holds value. I want my minus 240s getting it done inside the distance, and I wouldn't be shocked if he does, and I wouldn't be shocked if he does it early.
100% agree. That's all I was seeing this week is how you going to pay this price for Giga after the time off and getting absolutely destroyed in his last fight. I think the complete opposite. I think this is a tailor-made matchup for him. I think he has real potential to look minus 500 in this fight. I really do. So I have no problem laying the price. Usually I'm not, quick to pull the trigger on guys that take so much time off. But like you said, in this case where he got the shit beat out of him, I think it may be a good thing. So yeah, Giga has so many advantages. Obviously the Giga kick that he's known for, which is that liver kick, it's going to be a little tougher, right? Because he's orthodox and Caceres is southpaw most of the time, so it's going to be a little bit tougher. But I think he still destroys his body, destroys his leg with kicks. He's a better striker. He's a more powerful striker. I think he has the game changing power. I think you hit the nail on the fucking head. The only thing that Giga has to watch out for is getting his back taken. That is the only thing. I 100% agree with you also that I think Giga's live to finish this fight. I didn't get there on a prop as of yet because I just don't know when. I think he can knock him out round 1. I think he can knock him out round 3. I think he can club and sub him. We've seen Caceres make absolutely foolish mistakes on the mat. That's why he's gotten sub 7 times. Hold on. Yeah, he's gotten sub 7 times, right? So we've seen him make plenty of mistakes on the mat. And if he's fucking wobbling, his head is bouncing all over the place, he has no fucking idea where he is. I think Giga, that's not what he likes to do. He likes to put people's lights out, but he can snatch up a neck for sure. So Yeah, I think this is a great spot for Giga. I think Giga's getting slept on. Yeah, I must have forgot the run he was on. He was an absolute fucking killer in the featherweight division. He had a hard time getting fights. Um, there was a period, yeah, where he had a hard time getting fights. So he's an absolute killer. And you're telling me now Alex Caceres is going to come in there and beat him? I don't think so. So I'll lay the price in a parlay. Like I said, I have Giga with Bedoya and I don't want to fuck this up. And Nakamura, plus 105 on FanDuel. I like that. I think Giga wins this fight, probably finishes him. I think I'm gonna find a prop that I like, some revolving around Giga TKO. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. I think Giga wins this fight.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Next fight on the card, we have Anthony Smith taking on Ryan Spann. This is another fighter on Ryan Spann who actually trains down the road, Fortis
Mhm.
MMA guy. So, respect to him. I don't want to say too many, negative things about them because I've put in some work at Fortis myself. So I got to be careful what I say. But with that all being said, no, just kidding. I mean, Anthony Smith, come on, man. Like, to me, I think that the odds are accurate. I think if you're betting on this, you're fading a fighter. I don't think you're actually playing a fighter if you're betting on this fight. Um, because to me, I think Ryan Spann has upside. I don't think he has momentum, but I think he has upside. For Anthony Smith, I think that this is just kind of another day in the office for him. And this is a part of the office he doesn't want to be in. I think Anthony Smith wants to be in the commentary booth doing what he usually does. I don't know if Anthony Smith's heart is still really in the game. His grappling is really suspect. He's still suspect to leg kicks. I know that Ryan Spann isn't going to throw leg kicks, but would it shock you if he actually did this time? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to stay off this fight. I'll be rooting for Spann to get it done. I think that he does still have upside. But to me, looking at the numbers, I think it's just so damn accurate. And as a sports bettor, I don't like betting on accurate numbers. Again, this is perceived. And Anthony Smith, to me, just on the way out, and he's been on the way out for quite some time. So I think Ryan Spann does have potential. And a lot of people want to question his heart, his gas tank. Listen, when the first time that they fought, yeah, he got hit and he got submitted. It was as simple as that. But I think Ryan Spann is actually more durable than people give him credit for. I just think that he's always found the easy way out when really he can fight through it. I think he has potential, but I think he always just second guesses himself. Um, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and I think Ryan Spann can even up the series 1-1. Not confident. I don't like the number on him. I think that again, I think it's just so accurate that I'd rather just stay away. Do you have any thoughts or takes in this fight?
Yeah, I got some thoughts, but none of them have led to any bets. That's for damn sure. This is the meme fight of the week right here. I think you said it perfectly, right? If you take either of these fighters, you are absolutely fading the other fighter, right? If you take Ryan Spann, you're hoping that his chin doesn't get touched once and he just completely fucking spaghetti legs you, right? If you're betting on Anthony Smith, you're betting on him not getting absolutely destroyed, not getting touched by any of the power coming from Ryan Spann, and you're betting on a fighter that, like you said, is over the hill. He's probably nearing the last one or two fights of his career, preoccupied with the announcing shit. I hate backing fighters that are announcers and on the desk and shit like that. So yeah, I 100% agree. I was really leaning the Spann side and really trying to get there. I don't know how, and again, respect, right? If you're taking Ryan Spann, respect to you, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know how you watch Ryan Spann tape and put your hard-earned money on Ryan Spann. I don't see it. Of course, he's always live to knock you the fuck out, but he gets even touched and he's fucking wobbling all over the place. His head is bouncing everywhere. He makes a ton of mistakes, even in dominant positions. Just absolutely surrenders dominant positions on a mat. I don't respect the cardio. I think Anthony Smith can very well survive round one, grind Smith out, and win a decision. I think that's live, right? A lot of people on the unders and shit like that, but I think that's live. I think Anthony Smith can win a decision in this fight. Even the 1.5, even the under 1.5 is like -200, north of -200. So I just have no interest in this fight at all. Should be entertaining, right? It should be hilarious to watch these guys fight again. So, yeah, that's really all my thoughts. I'm not placing a cent on this fight.
Yeah, respect. Me either. Not placing anything on this fight. The next fight that we have up is the main event. We got the Korean Zombie taking on Max Blessed Holloway. And again, my bias is gonna be talking for the most part, but I will always root for them Hawaiian boys. And Max Holloway's fighting with a little bit more on his sleeve this time. But you know, I mean, TKZ, he's a legend, but if this fight goes south, he's already mentioned retiring from the fight game. Justified for sure. You know, I think he's 36 years old. He's pretty old, man. And Max Holloway, believe it or not, he's really young still. He's younger than Volk. He's younger than a lot of these guys. He's just been doing it so long that, you know, it's pretty much just kind of caught up to him. Max always brings the pace, the pressure, the fight style, but you know, you already know all of that. As a minus 1,000 favorite, again, this is not a fight I really want to waste my breath on and talk to you guys about why Max Holloway is going to win. The number is where it's at for a reason. TKZ has already kind of expressed that this is most likely his last fight. He hasn't confirmed it until I see him put the gloves in the octagon. I don't know what to think. But yeah, TKZ, I mean, shout out to a legendary career. Shout out to, you know, one of the guys who beat Dustin Poirier, one of 3 guys to actually have a twister. This is going to be, you know, a really fun fight, but I do think that at minus 1,000, you're just kind of, it's just, you're betting on expectations. You're betting on, you know, I don't know. It's just too wide for me, bro. If you're putting them in a parlay, best of luck to you. I have no interest really in the main event, to be completely honest. I don't agree with the matchmaking. I know Dana White was doing more of a favor for Jung because he said that he wanted to fight Max Holloway before he retired, and here we are. You got Max Holloway. Are you retiring or not? We don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time, bro. I don't really like this fight, but yeah, go Max. Hawaii, stand up. But yeah, I mean, an upset would be cool too, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually get him at a steal now at minus 650. So if that's the route you want to take, right? Bet 650, you can get yourself $100 bill. So this is my biggest bet of the card. So 3.3 units to win 2 units, max money line and over 2.5 rounds. Like I said, right, me not putting in action ever early in the week, you just simply lose out on some lines. So this total opened up at 2.5, and it was very, very playable. So you know, you get more information, but you lose out on lines like that. I think I'm never going to say 0% chance. I think there's a 99% chance Max wins this fight. Like you said, I don't know. I don't even really think this fight should be happening. Both guys extremely durable with all the stuff going on in Hawaii right now. Obviously, prayers out to them. Right, a lot of deaths with those wildfires. A lot of people in tough situations. Max always carries Hawaii on his back, and that's exactly what he said in the press conference. And he got emotional. You never see that shit from Max. With even more of a heavier heart, he is absolutely gonna put on for Hawaii, and we're gonna see obviously what we've seen for the last couple of years with Max. Both guys extremely tough as it gets. A lot of people making the age and the damage that Korean Zombie has taken. I think they're kind of overstating that, right? He's taking a shit ton of damage, but I still think he's as tough as nails. I think you know, we're gonna see a third, fourth, fifth round in this fight. You know, on FanDuel they have those specials. You know, Max round 4 or 5 a decision. I think that was like minus 110. I don't mind that at all either. Because yeah, I do think he can stop Korean Zombie later in the fight. But yeah, I think this is going to be another masterclass from Max. Just, you know, I think it's kind of a favor for both guys. I think Max is excited to have a new face in front of him, excited to fight a legend in the game. And like you said, you know, Korean Zombie uttered the R word, right? As soon as I hear retirement in any form of fashion, that is as red of a flag as it gets. So he said it was Max or retirement. He got Max. I think he's going to get his face fucking boxed off for 5 rounds. I would lean in this fight going decision, but I do think, like I said, I do think Max can stop him late. I mean, Zombie's best chance is to try to win chunks of rounds and try to win minutes on the mat and try to control Max on the mat. I don't think we get that, right? If you know in the back of your head this is your last fight, you want to win it, but I don't think that means you just, you know, I don't think he's going to start every round with the objective to I'm going to get Max on his back. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think Max wins fucking 95 out of 100 times. I think he wins. And the over 2.5 obviously is real simple in my mind. 2 tough guys. I think this fight does see the scorecards. I think it's another 50-45 situation for Max. So pretty simple for me. I know a lot of people dabbling in a significant strike market. If you are in the same mind frame as me and you think this fight is going to go 3, 4, 5 rounds, parlay significant strikes, 100 plus for both guys. Max is extremely hittable. He's super tough and he 50-45s guys, but he does get hit a shit ton. So I think both guys are going to land a shit ton of shots, but Max is going to absolutely put it on him. It is Max Holloway fight week. There is no fucking chance he is losing this fight. So Max and over 2.5 rounds, my biggest bet of the card, 3.3 units to win 2 units.
I like it, man. This next segment is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to have to do something for about 2 minutes, but I want to talk about, if you can lead it off, I'll be right back. But I want to talk about props, hot takes, and if you have any parlays. I'll be right back, but I want you to discuss like what's going to be your hot take of the week and any props that you're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. I do not mind doing that at all. So I actually got to build my like little lotto. I put out like a little lotto every week. So I actually have to build that. I haven't done that yet. And now seems like a perfect chance to do so. So starting with hot take, I'm taking a lot of favorites this week. Not a week where I'm stabbing at a lot of underdogs. I think hot take has to be Aaron Blanchfield. I'm seeing a lot of people on Tyler. I'm seeing a lot of people on Tyler for what I think are overstated reasons. I think a lot of people are just seeing the plus money and creaming their fucking pants and jumping in the plus on a plus money. And I completely disagree with that. So my hot take, I'll say, is Aaron Blanchfield. I think she gets it done. I think she's live to finish Tyler Santos, something that even Valentina Shevchenko could not do. But it's a different fight, I feel like, than a Valentina fight. So not really the hottest it takes, but I'm gonna use that as my hot take. My lotto's probably gonna involve. It's probably gonna involve Max. Round 4 or 5 a decision at -110. It's probably gonna involve that. I like throwing Giga in the parlay. So yeah, let me do that. So now that you're back, I said my hot take was Aaron Blanchfield. That's not the hottest it takes. I'll let you go through your shit, and I'll try to build a little long shot here on the fly, and then I'll give that out after.
Got you. Yeah. So my hot take of the week, I think Aaron Blanchfield TKOs Tyler Santos. The reason why I say that is because if you watch what Aaron Blanchfield does, is she gets in these dominant positions. She did it against Molly McCann, and what she does is she looks for crucifix positions. If she doesn't get it, she settles where she's at. She'll look for top time. But she doesn't rush anything. She's very patient. But in this case, I do think that she has already mentioned that she wants to finish Tyler Santos. And, getting a short number on her as it is on the money line, I do think that the prop in itself is going to be paying a lot. So for me, my hot take of the week, I think that Aaron Blanchfield, and I know, guys, I know it's expected to go the distance. I know that. It's women's MMA, right? It's always supposed to go the distance. But I do think that there is some finishing upside on Aaron Blanchfield. For her to get it done inside the distance is plus 230. That as in its own is not that it's not all that interesting. Blanchfield wins by TKO is plus 1400. So I think she can get a dominant position.
I'm gonna have to look at that shit now, bro. God damn.
Plus 1400, Bet Online, bro. Bet Online is probably one of the best books, and I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just use them. So yeah, that's where I'm headed as my hot take of the week. Now, some props that I like, you can go to realistically both of the heavyweight fights and probably play split decision. To me, really not that interesting on split decision props. I want something plus 800 or more. If you look at both heavyweight fights, they're sitting at sub plus 600. So to me, you're cutting a little bit of value out of the cake on that one for me. I'm not too big into props usually, but I will play a number that I kind of agree with. For me, there's just a lot of road to UFC guys on this card. There's a lot of unknowns on this card. So there's also a lot of fuck around and find outs on this card. So I think this is one of those cards where it's kind of built into the price. You're just kind of going to find out. The other one that I actually like as far as a prop, not really a hot take, but I think Chidi and Jokawani is so long that he can go off 15 minutes. I think Michal Oleksiejczuk is so compact that he can also go off 15 minutes. You know, he fought Dustin Jacoby. He goes off 15 minutes. Sure, he was getting rocked. Jacoby has no finishing instinct, but I think a lot of that also has to do with Michal being durable. Yes, he's been submitted. I don't think Chidi is the wrestler to get it down to the mat like that. So, for those reasons, I think Michal via decision at plus 600 also holds a little bit of value. So, those are my hot takes and the props that I am looking at. As far as a parlay, if I'm going to build one right here, right now, you know, Max Holloway is a little too expensive for my liking, a little too rich for my blood. I think the way that you could play that is probably over 2.5 at minus 240 as an anchor. And probably include that you would go maybe Nakamura. I just don't see a way that he loses, man. You don't like to use the lock word, and neither do I. So I think those two alone probably will pay close to minus 150, if I'm not mistaken. Um, that would probably be the 2-pick parlay that I would be most interested in. Rolando Bedoya, I just cannot get behind, man. I'm gonna wish you luck, but I'm gonna be on the other side of that coin.
Oh yeah, I fuck with it. So I just built something out on DK, right? Plus 1260. I'm sad that they're not giving us a boost. They gave us a boost last week. So that fucking sucks. So yeah, so mine is Max Holloway and over 2.5 rounds. Giga money line, Aaron Blanchfield money line, Junior Tafa by KO, and Yusaka Kinoshita money line at plus 1260 on DK. I kind of really like that actually. So that might be it right there. That might be it
That's
right there.
dope, man. That's dope. All right, so moving forward, you know, to all those who are watching, I see a lot of the live comments. I'm gonna try to get Finesse on regularly so that we can discuss some UFC. I know that I'm more so of a co-host on a lot of other shows, but if I can start hosting my own shows and talking about UFC, that'd be fantastic. Finesse has reached out to me a couple of times regarding fights, and I love it, man. This guy's educated. He knows what he's talking about. He bets on numbers, and that's reminds me of myself. For me, I was introduced into MMA first before any other sport. And it's just the most genuine sport in the world to actually bet on. You don't got to worry about referees. There's no whistle involved. There is no point prop. There's no triple double. You don't got to worry about anytime touchdown scoring. It's the most genuine put two men in a fucking cage and fight it out sport that there is on the planet. I would like to bring a regularly scheduled show. It's still in discussion for those of you who are in the comments and asking about it. It's a work in progress. To me, I'm not really set up or built to host, but I'm open-minded to it. So we're discussing it. You know, next week we got Cyril Gahn taking on Sergey Spivak for UFC Paris. Rose Namajunas is coming back. So there's a lot of looking ahead to do. Additionally, we also have Dana White Contender Series, which will continue next week as well. So looking forward to all of that. We'll stay in touch. And if anything changes, any news, I will go ahead and make sure I tweet it on the YBB main page. I'm Gerhardt. I have less of a following than the actual YBB main page. But I'm the guy who does the fight breakdowns for the most part and the data analytics for other sports. Finesse, I appreciate you doing the show with me so late at night. We have fights to watch in a couple of hours. So I'm going to get this video published out there on YouTube and retweet it on Twitter. So I appreciate you having the time to break down these fights. And yeah, we'll stay in touch and hopefully talk about UFC Paris.
Yeah, sorry. Shout out. I'm just checking the comments too. Shout out to my man in the comments. He said Mariah Carey over Beyonce. Shout out to you. If you know, you know. Shout out to you, my guy. But yeah, like you said, appreciate you. Appreciate your time. I can talk fights for hours. So I love getting on here and talking fights and kind of getting the people involved. So yeah, we'll try to work something out. I'm gonna probably take a little fucking nap, wake up at 5 a.m. and watch these fights. So yeah, let's make some money. And yeah, let's do it, bro. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. We'll see y'all later. We'll be back next week. I don't know when or a schedule just yet, but we will be discussing UFC Paris. Later, y'all. Good luck on your bets and peace out.